Hey everybody, this is Jamal. I wanted to jump on live here and really just share my success tip. Every week I try to share a success tip about leadership and strategic leadership. And I just felt like this morning I had a topic I wanted to share to talk about, how leaders help establish and set the framework for their culture as well as accountability. But in light of what is going on, I'm going to tie it into some of the things that are going on socially as well as in our culture, because right now we're still dealing with the effects of the virus that's been going on. Businesses are reopening. I talked about before 5 pillars that I call 5 things you need to focus on during this time, as well as going into this new normal that we found ourselves in. And I've talked about that and been talking about it for the past couple of weeks. But in the midst of dealing with a virus and people showing a lot of love, we still see some cases of injustice. And there's a lot of outrage, a lot of hurt, a lot of disappointment, at the things that have been going on. Recently, 2 African Americans were killed by the hands of law enforcement, and based upon the video footage from witnesses, they seem unwarranted. Also seen another footage of someone, of 2 individuals who were roughed up by police for basically based on the video footage for no reason except for their race. There was another person that recently had the police called on them. So these things are continuing to happen, and these racial inequities are continuing to occur. Now, I'm not foolish enough to think everybody has those negative views of people of a different color, but I am wise enough to know that some do. And as leaders, we are responsible for helping to set the tone and hold people accountable in the organizations and in the places we lead and have influence. For example, every leader is not a person of position. You know that. Leadership is influence. And everyone in a position of leadership doesn't actually know how to lead. We know that. Those are different things that I talk about. But I would say this. Number 1, culture is everyone's responsibility. I debunk the myth and don't buy into the myth that the leader is totally responsible for the culture of an organization. That is not true. Everyone's beliefs, everyone's actions, everyone's words play a part of the culture. Now, the leader is responsible for the framework of the culture. And what I mean by that, they set the standards of what they will and will not accept in the organization they are leading. And if they have say-so in the hiring process, they can determine the individuals that join the team. And they can set the standard for this is how we interact with each other on this team. This is how we interact with our clients and customers and people we serve. And this is how you represent this organization, as a member of whatever. And so I encourage you, leaders, to stay courageous, because I know sometimes it's easy to get pushed into silence or to be tempted to be the BFF and engage in what I call soft serve leadership, because you don't want to face additional opposition because you're already dealing with the challenges of leading. But I encourage you to stand up. We cannot allow the people we are leading to behave in a way I'll say it this way. We can't allow the people we are leading to treat others unfairly, regardless of who they are, what they believe, or what they look like. And so as a leader, you should be holding your people accountable for their actions. And I will make it extremely plain. The officers involved in all of these incidents need to be disciplined not only by their leader and the city leaders and the sergeants and things like that. There should also be criminal charges for those who have had criminal behavior, because that is the standard. And if every leader holds their people accountable, and if our city governments and our law enforcement hold their people accountable as leaders and people in the community, then we can see change. It's not enough for outcry and protests and people speaking out on social media. I mean, that's fine and good. But after that, there has to be some real change. There have been outcries and protests for years, and nothing has really come about it, except for maybe the arrest once the public has known about a situation. And so I just encourage leaders to stand up. And if there are leaders in positions who are not going to stand up, this is going to sound very strong, but I'm going to say you probably don't need to be in leadership. If you can operate in integrity and do the right thing and ensure the people you're leading do the right thing and hold them accountable for not doing the right thing, then you're in the wrong position. You don't need to lead, period. All right, so everybody else, have a good day. Have a good rest of your week and be successful. I'll jump back on next week to talk more about strategic leadership and accountability and, other topics that will help you lead your business like a champion. All right, be successful.